Hello, everyone. Welcome to William and the Magic Box. Today on our show, we are going to have Jason. Jason is from Springfield, in Missouri, in the USA. So let's see what Jason has to say. Enjoy the interview. It's okay. Good morning, Jason. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Thanks so much for taking the time this morning for the interview. My goodness, on Sunday morning. Thank you.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind.
I
Thanks
like your
for having
t-shirt.
me on your show.
I like your t-shirt.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I found this a couple years ago. It was part of the Pride collection with Fabletics. I don't know if you've heard of that brand before, but
Right.
I
Okay.
enjoy the brand. Yeah.
Amazing. So tell me, how is your going so far this morning?
Oh, good. I've got my coffee, been sipping on that. Oh, and I'm also a Golden Girls fan, so
Oh,
but yeah, so I'm doing well. Yeah, it's kind of just starting to change into autumn where I'm from.
uh-huh.
And so I don't know if you could probably barely see out the window there, but the leaves haven't quite changed, but they're starting to, and we're
I
getting
can,
the cooler weather, which I love. It's nice to finally
yeah,
feel the difference. Yeah, how are
yeah.
you?
I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. I've been this morning. I've been just editing some interviews, and also, I've been watching some little clips of Madonna's celebration tour in London last
Oh,
night.
fun.
So I was
That's
like, okay,
amazing.
yeah, I was just like people, I was scrolling a little bit on YouTube and, people posting some clips. And I was like, oh my goodness, what an amazing experience to see, someone like her, like literally just again making more memories in the world. So I think it's great
Hmm.
to feel the vibe a little bit. So
Yeah.
do you consider yourself to be more of a day or night person?
I'm definitely a morning person. Yeah. I try to be a nighttime person, and if I really prepare, yeah, I can be. But yeah, I'm a morning person. Yep.
So tell me, where are you from, Jason?
I live in Springfield, Missouri currently, and I've lived here for about 20 about 20 years, I guess. Yeah, I was born in Arkansas and lived
Mhm.
there, and then moved to Laredo, Texas when I was in high school, and then actually came here for college and then got a job right out of college that was close to here. So I lived 1 year in Tempe, Arizona, which is like a suburb of Phoenix, but mostly here in Springfield. Yeah.
And all your family are back in Arkansas?
Not all of them. Actually, my parents and my sister, so my immediate family all live here. We all ended up kind of migrating here, I guess. Yeah. But all of my extended family, for the most part, are in Arkansas. Yeah.
I see. And what do you do for work, for living?
I am a music teacher. So for 20 years, I taught in public school full time, and I taught choir.
Mhm.
And then I've always kind of on the side here and there taught private lessons. But this year, I actually ventured out on my own. And so I am basically full time now teaching private lessons. I teach private voice, private piano. And so, yeah, music is my profession.
Amazing. Actually, I'd like to start the interview with a phrase that I saw on your page on Facebook. Yeah, it says
Okay.
it says it all. It says, I'm a fun-loving guy who loves people with some singing on the side."
Yeah, I did write that. It's a little cheesy, but that's kind of me. I'm a little long-winded and I'm a little cheesy, so just cut me off if I go too long when I talk. Sorry in advance.
So, so tell me, to start the interview, tell me how music came into your life.
Oh, wow. Um, I have always probably had it in my life because my parents enjoyed music. And growing up in the church, my parents are missionaries in the Assemblies of God church. Um, so we were always in church. So that's kind of my first connection to music. I was 3 years old. My parents were both in the choir in this little tiny church in Arkansas. And so probably that's how I got somewhat interested in it. But I don't know why, but at 3 years old, I saw somebody singing a solo in church. And so I went up to my mom and I distinctly remember saying, I want to do that.
Oh,
I don't know why at 3 years old I wanted to do that. So she taught me a song and I wasn't nervous. I went up and I sang and I've been doing it ever since. So
wow.
yeah, I didn't really honestly plan to make it my profession. I was going to be a math teacher.
Wow.
Whenever I applied for college, I really enjoyed school in general. Kind of a
Yeah.
nerd, I guess. And then I guess that love for music just kind of overpowered the math part. And so I ended up getting my degree in music after all. But yeah, it's just always been a part. Our family would sing together, and my older brother was really talented in music. So he probably influenced me too. Yeah.
Uh,
So anyway, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. I think music connects the world. Music makes people feel great about themselves. About
I agree.
even when you are feeling melancholic or sad for some reason, if you put some music, it feels great
Yes.
somehow. It puts your hurt heart in a better place. It's something about music, and I have goosebumps now just saying that because
Oh,
powerful.
I agree.
It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
And actually, I heard once that when you think, you pray twice. I
Oh yeah, that's lovely.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's
I think
true.
yeah.
Have you heard about now tell me if I'm going on too long.
No, no.
But there's this really fascinating article that came out a few years ago, right when the pandemic was starting, I think, about how when people sing together in a choir, so all of their heart rates start to beat at the same heart rate, almost like a
Wow.
metronome. They've done studies where like everybody came in at different heart rates, for whatever reason. And then as they started to sing, everybody, because probably the breathing and just the community and everything, everybody's heart rate were absolutely in sync with each other, which is pretty fascinating. It makes sense in a lot of ways because it's a very spiritual experience,
Totally.
even though you don't have to be religious for it to be a spiritual
No,
experience, I don't think. But anyway, yeah, and I've seen that over all my years of teaching, how many of my students, it's really made a difference in their lives just to be involved in music for the better. Yeah.
amazing. Okay, Jason, are you ready to go on a beautiful journey through your memories in life and share your point of views?
I think so. I'll do my best.
Welcome to William and the Magic Box.
Yeah, I've seen a few of your clips, yeah, on YouTube.
So I'm just gonna play a song now, just for us to relax a bit before the first question. Okay,
Okay.
let's do it. Amazing. Okay, so before we start the journey, if it comes up a question that you don't want to talk about some reason, you don't want to answer, always can change, okay?
Okay.
Right, first question for you is, share with us a crazy or a funny story that happened to you when you were a child at school.
There's a lot of them. Okay, so one that's really funny. I think I was in fourth grade, around 10 years old. I did not enjoy PE class, physical education class, but we had to go. So I remember one day, I had these sweatpants. I was in a hurry to get dressed. I was going to wear them to school. And then and this is like in probably the early 90s, late 80s, whatever. So it was big into the drawstring. You actually had to pull the drawstring to make not elastic band or anything. That's going to make sense in a second. So I was pulling the string, trying to get it tied around my waist. Well, I pulled the string entirely out on accident. So there is nothing holding the pants up other than my hips, and my family has a a history of not slim hips, so it was probably going to be okay. I forgot I had PE that day, and I
Oh
was
my
in a
God.
hurry, so I had to get out the door. I get to to PE. All day I've been like pulling up on my pants, just trying to make sure they stay up. And we have this obstacle course. So there's like all these different stations. So you have to run as fast as you can, like shoot some hoops. I think there was like a tiny little balance beam you had to go do something on. You had to run around cones. I mean, there's so many different things. All that to say, so it became my turn. I'm doing pretty good, trying to keep my pants up. And then all of a sudden, I get to the part where you have to shoot the baskets. Well, there's no way. So I start shooting the baskets and I keep missing because I'm not very talented in athletics. And then before I knew it, my entire jogging pants were on the ground.
Oh
Everybody
my.
could see my underwear. Everybody's laughing, including my teacher. And I'm so embarrassed. And so I finally was able to like get them pulled back up, but I still had stuff to do. Like I wasn't the last thing. So I finally got done, and I don't even remember what happened after that. I kind of blacked out probably mentally, but anyway, I just remember being so embarrassed that I had basically, I didn't moon them, but I almost did because I had just my underwear on, and I was very shy about stuff like that. So that was kind of horrifying, but also funny now that I look back on it. So yeah, I very distinctly remember that.
Who was your favorite teacher at school?
Oh wow. I had a lot of great ones. Probably in high school, my favorite teacher was my math teacher. It's why I wanted to become a math teacher. Her name was Miss Contreras. She was a Latina lady. And what fascinated me about her, I remember I was in calculus, which now I don't even know how to do anything related to calculus. It's been so long ago, but she was such a fantastic teacher that there was I lived on the border in Laredo, so a lot of people would migrate to America from Mexico, and they spoke no English. So there was this really smart guy that was good at math, but he couldn't understand English, so they put him in our class. She seriously taught calculus fluently in both languages. So she would teach it in English to all of us. And I knew some Spanish. So, I mean, I knew enough because my parents were missionaries to Mexico. But, you know, I wasn't going to be taught in it for calculus. She went right off and explained everything to him. She made sure that he understood it and just went off and did her thing in Spanish and then came right back to us in English. Amazing lady, very sweet, very kind, very encouraging. um and so I really do think that's why I wanted to be a math teacher, was more
Oh,
because of her, and not as much, but I mean I enjoyed math a lot and I thought I'd be good at it. But yeah, so Miss
amazing.
Contreras, probably one of my favorite teachers
And
from
you
high
remember her
school.
name. It's fun to remember her
Yeah,
name.
oh yeah, yeah, for
That's
sure.
fun.
She's
Next
amazing.
question. Let's do it.
Love it.
Okay, Jason. Next question is: if you could have dinner with anyone, living or not, who that would be and why?
Oh, that's easy. Dolly Parton, because I've always been fascinated by her, well, her intelligence. People don't always realize how smart she is. She's an amazing businesswoman. Of course, I love music, and she's a fantastic musician, singer, and songwriter. I have worked my way through from the very beginning of her entire, um, I guess, what's the word, discography, from when she started in the 60s and gone all the way to now. I'm just a huge fan, and then also just her compassion for people, and she's so humble. And you probably heard the stories of when she declines these monuments they want to build to her, and then when she was trying to decline the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nomination because she didn't feel like she had ever made a rock album. I mean, who does that that's as wealthy as she is? And
Oh,
yeah, and she's always charted her own path. She's so kind towards the LGBTQI QIA plus community, and always has been. But also she's very, very spiritual, which I feel like I have a kinship with her on that. So that is one of my bucket list items. I hope, even if I just get to go to a concert someday, but if I could have dinner with her, I've actually had dreams
Wow.
about this where
Wow.
I got to meet her and she was so sweet and she was so kind of fun and everything you think she would be, which I think she would be. I think she would be
Wow.
lovely. So anyway, yeah, that's easy.
Let's say that this interview gets to her somehow and she's watching the interview right now and you have the
Oh
chance
my
to
God.
ask her one question right now. What would you ask her?
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I probably would ask her how she has remained so consistently kind over the years. What has been the driving force behind that? Because to me, a lot of people have talent, a lot of people have business sense, but she has a way of navigating all of that and still had an amazing heart. Like what is, and I think I kind of know because I've listened to interviews, but also it would just be amazing to hear it from her and just talk about that. So yeah.
Okay, let's wait for this interview to get to her and
Oh,
she's gonna record like an answer
your
and she's
mouth to
gonna
God's
send it back
ears.
to you.
That would be amazing.
Let's wait. You never know. Let's wait for that to happen. I'll be so
Okay.
amazed as well.
I am open to it anytime, Dolly. Okay, get this. I am dressing up as Dolly for Halloween. Like I'm going full drag.
Wow.
And so I'm going to shave my beard. I'm going to do the makeup. I've got a wig. I've got a jumpsuit. So I'm going to look kind of like Dolly from the late 70s, early 80s. That's one of my favorite eras of her. So
Amazing.
yeah. So
There we,
I'm a fan.
there we go. Next question. Let's do it. Before the next question, Jason, question for you. I don't know, I've seen so many people trying to sing, to learn how to sing, to, get into music. My question for you is, do you think anyone can sing or not?
Sure. I've actually had this question a lot. It kind of, okay, let me say it this way. I think anyone can learn to sing. Two things have to be present for that to happen. So the first thing is you have to have a strong desire to want to do it. So I have seen literally people who could not match a pitch but wanted to learn to sing, and I've worked with them, and over time, now it doesn't always happen quickly, but over time I've worked with them to the point where they sang very well and did well in competitions, some of my high school students. And so the desire to do it, and then the only other thing I think that might prevent somebody from doing it is if there's some kind of physical impairment, like let's say that you are deaf, you know, it's harder to do. I don't know if can't is the right word, but I mean, when you can't hear the pitch, it's hard
Mhm.
to know exactly how you are negotiating going up and down and all of that. But I have heard of studies where people are, because of the vibrations, they can start to kind of, you know, figure things out. So really, honestly, it's the desire. So I think anybody can, because it's part of you. It's not that much different than speaking.
Mhm.
It's different, but not much. And it all starts in the mind. So as long as you have an openness to it, I have seen so many people who maybe didn't have a natural aptitude for it at first grow
Mhm.
into very fine singers. And it's kind of like me, let's say that, I wanted to learn to play tennis really well. Like right now, when I say that out loud, I almost want to laugh because I know that my aptitude in sports is very poor. Like I could never learn to make a proper layup in basketball. I remember doing it over and over and over again with my dad and my brother, and they did it fine. And I'm just like, I could not get it. And I just didn't have a desire, if I'm being completely honest. So I just kind of gave up. I didn't care because I love music and I love studying and whatever. So really, I do think there are people who have a stronger aptitude toward it, just like any other thing. But yeah, I told you I'm long-winded, but yes, I think anybody, I think anybody can sing who
Amazing.
wants to. Yeah.
Yeah. I think our mind, our brain, it's so powerful that somehow you can put things out there. It doesn't matter what, but I think if you really love it, if you really have this thing inside, trust me, you're gonna get there somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I agree.
Right, right. This is my favorite question of the Magic Box and came up to you.
Okay. Okay.
Send away a message to someone, but you don't need to tell who this message is for.
Oh, just send any message to
To anyone, yeah.
somebody.
Just the person is gonna be watched, gonna go like, okay, I know this message is for me.
Oh, okay. Again, Panda, I miss you. I love you. I miss your hugs. And I wish I could have one right now. And I hope I see you very, very soon.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can see this person smiling right now, waiting
I hope so.
to eat. Next question. All right, next question for you is, if you could have a superpower, what that would be and why?
Oh, that's a good one. Ooh. I've actually thought about this before, and I'm always torn between two. I sometimes wish I could be invisible when I wanted to be,
Mm-hmm.
because as much as I probably seem like an extroverted person, and I guess I am also very introverted. Like, I really do treasure my personal space and my
Mm-hmm.
privacy. And so also I'm kind of nosy and I'm an eavesdropper. So it'd be much easier to do that if I was invisible and nobody knew I was in the room. I mean, how many of us have wanted to just be a fly on the wall of a conversation and wish we could have heard what was really going on, that kind of thing. So maybe that one, or maybe the other one would just be what do they call it, teletransportation, just being able to be in a certain place at any given moment wherever you want to be, because that's pretty cool. So, but probably the invisibility thing would be great, because you could do a lot with that too.
And let's say if you could transportate yourself, like have the superpower to put yourself in any place right now, exactly this moment, where would you be?
Ooh, that's a great question. Probably Puerto Vallarta in Mexico. I love that place. It's like a little
Okay.
heaven on earth.
You know what I love the most about the show, it's about the Magic Box go over the world, and I had some guests from there, and before the Magic Box I never heard before of Puerto Vallarta, and I know now how amazing, it's a gay spot where people literally
Sure.
go there. So that's what I love the most about the show, about
Yeah,
get
that's
so
awesome.
many places. Okay.
Have you ever been? Have you
No,
been?
no, no, but now
Oh,
reviews, of
I
course, I'd
highly
love.
recommend it. It's a lovely little spot. Yeah.
I'll be there for sure. Question. Next question for you is, what does love mean to you?
Ooh, that's a deep one. Oh, wow. Well, I think love has a lot of facets to it, but more than anything, I think it's just feeling that you can trust and feel comfortable around someone and know that they feel the same way about you. Probably is the deepest kind of love. I mean, there's romantic love where you're attracted to someone, but that doesn't last as long. And I feel that way about my husband. I definitely had that at the beginning, and we were very attracted to each other. But now it's deepened into something where he's my treasured friend, and I always think of him almost like a kindred spirit, where we can talk to each other about anything. And like in the room, I look for him if we're in a group setting, or something, because I know he gets probably what I'm thinking without having to say words. That to me, that's love, and
Oh,
and accepting even the times whenever you're not in your best place and still wanting to be with that person. And that's not easy. It doesn't mean it happens all the time.
oh.
But I think to me, that's what love is all about.
Yeah, I think love is a very genuine feeling. It's a genuine feeling, you know what I mean? It comes naturally
Yeah.
from it's there. You don't choose to love someone. You don't feel like, "Oh, I'm gonna fall in love right now." It doesn't work
Right.
like that. It just is a natural, genuine feeling that we feel when you go like, "Oh, it's so nice to feel this, this love." It can be
Hmm.
hard, can be difficult, can be painful, but at the same time as well,
Yes.
it's the whole package of love. It's meaningful and it's good to be in love for sure.
I agree.
Ready for another question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it. Next one. Before the next question, as I could see your eyes shining talking about your husband, and I saw so many
Oh.
pictures of both of you together. Tell me what's the most beautiful lesson you've learned from him?
Oh, wow. He's really taught me how to be kinder and more confident towards myself and to believe in myself more. I have always tended to be very harsh and very unkind to myself. And he believes in me and supports me and knows me well enough to tell me the truth about things. Yeah. So yeah, that's probably one of the biggest things. Also, this is probably going to sound a little interesting or unusual, but he's Vietnamese. His parents were refugees from Vietnam that came over right after or right around when the end of the war was happening. And so he was born in Phoenix, but his parents are from Vietnam. And I've learned so much about just Vietnamese culture and Vietnamese food. He's an amazing cook. And so, I mean, obviously the other things more of a spiritual thing, but I mean, I'm spoiled. He makes homemade pho, he makes homemade spring rolls. I've learned how to make some of that myself. So that's, I mean, something I really didn't have a lot of Asian friends before I knew him, just because of in Springfield there's just not a large population. So I've learned a lot about that too. And I'm glad. I've been richer for that.
Amazing. All right. Next question is, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Oh, I think I would like to see myself at full capacity at my studio. So I just started doing full time. So I've got a little ways to go before I'm at the number of students that I feel is the top number I'd like to be at. But that I could see that in 5 years.
Mhm.
I would like to do more with my music. I have written a lot of songs, but I've never really had the time or the energy, honestly, because of my job to do a lot with it. Um, so I would like to either record it, whether it becomes anything on the radio or on, streaming or whatever, but just record it and get it formally into some kind of format. I would love to do that. And then I would love to be able to travel more with my husband. We do quite a fair bit of it now, but we've always wanted to go to Asia, where his family's from originally. And so I don't know. Those are some of my bucket list things that I'd like to do.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. 3 questions left, Jason. Let's
Oh,
do
wow.
it.
Okay.
Next question for you is, I think this one is going to be very easy. What made you
Okay.
laugh last time? Something genuinely that made you laugh or smile?
Oh. Um there's a lot of things. My sister and I can get giggling about the silliest things. So I don't know if it's a specific thing. Honestly, when she starts laughing and when our family gets together to this day, we're both in our 40s now, but we used to get in such trouble when we were kids at the dinner table. We have all these weird little sayings and things that we, it's kind of like our inside jokes that nobody else really gets. And we'll start laughing so hard that we can't breathe. And yeah, so I don't know if that's answering the question
Yeah.
properly, but I can do it sometimes and she'll get laughing and then it just feeds off of each other. We would get sent from the table to our rooms because we were laughing so hard. And then we would hear each other laughing in our bedrooms and we would still be laughing. We couldn't stop. I mean, it's gotten to the point where, I mean, my stomach hurts in a good way. And my face is like hurting because I'm smiling so much. So yeah, that she's probably my best laugh friend that I have.
She's the person in your family that you are more close to?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's so funny. She and I have always been pretty close for lots of reasons, but I think of her, obviously she's my blood sister, but she is, other than my husband, probably my closest friend in the world. She's always been there for me, and hopefully she feels I've been that for her too. And yeah, she was my, I don't know what to call it. She was my best woman. She walked me down the aisle at my wedding,
Wow.
and she was like, she's the one that signed the marriage license as my witness. Yeah, she's pretty fantastic, and she's a mother and a fantastic educator, so
Wow.
talented in so many ways. I really admire her. And she also stands up for what she believes in, sometimes even more than I do. Sometimes I'm too scared to say what I feel. And that's something I really have appreciated about her is she won't back off. She very strongly defends what she believes in.
Wow.
And so yeah, I admire her. She's a pretty lovely person. Yeah.
What's her name?
Jennifer, or I call her Jenny. Yeah.
Jenny, you are invited for the Magic Box. I'd love to have you here on the show.
Oh, she's a little shyer
Oh,
than me about some things, but she might do it. You never
no.
know.
The
I'm kind of a
message
ham.
is sent out there.
Yeah,
Let's,
yeah, for sure.
2 questions left. Let's do it.
Okay.
Before the next question, let's say people who contact you, people who would like to work with you, through music. What's something about you, about the work you do, that stands out comparing, with the business outside? Something that people they come to you for it. Something special about your way of teaching music.
Probably one of the things that I've heard people say is that I am encouraging in my method, that I really try to encourage people into success. So instead of, you did that wrong, do that better, I always try to come at it of, what if you tried it this way and you're doing this really well, but maybe this might be better. And then also, I incorporate a lot of mindfulness into my teaching, whether people realize it or not, because so much of mindfulness, and even meditation, but I mean, I don't do meditation in the lessons, but the breathing that comes from meditation and mindfulness, just the mindset that comes from mindfulness, it's so helpful. And I think I've probably grown into that even more as I've taught longer. I have always tried to use patience and then also just cater what I do to each student. So if there's a student who learns a certain way, I don't want it to be cookie cutter where, no, this is the only method. Sometimes something works differently for somebody that doesn't work at all for somebody else. And so, and then I also really focus a lot on vocal technique.
Mm-hmm.
Not every voice teacher really worries about that. They're just like, teach a song, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Teach a song, and then they'll learn it as they sing it, which is true. But I really try to help people have tools to know, And whatever style you sing, if you're doing the proper things with your voice, it will last you a lifetime. And then if I'm not around and you don't have a voice teacher, you'll have those tools to help you continue on past that. So probably those are things, that help. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is, tell us something that you have done that you feel very proud of yourself.
Oh, probably the biggest one was coming out. And I I was 36 years old when I came out.
Wow.
And so I was scared. I knew when I was probably 10 years old that I was attracted to males, to other men. But just growing up in the religious culture that I did, that was just not acceptable. And I thought I was going to hell if I gave into it. And when I was 10, it wasn't attracted like in the same way that you would be as a full adult, obviously. But little crushes and things you'd get, it freaked me out. And so I really tried for so many years because I'm a people pleaser. And that was the world I lived in growing up. I was very heavily involved in the church. And so I was so afraid that if I came out for a long time, that I was really going to go to hell. Like if I died, I would go to hell, and burn and all that. I don't believe that anymore, but I did. And so it took me quite a journey. I was in therapy. I tried all kinds of different methods and things to try to fix myself. And I was so lonely, and I really did toe the road. I was very disciplined with it, but I was so miserable. And so, yeah, at 36, I finally came out to a lot of people, but my parents were the hardest ones because I really do love them very much. And I knew it was going to be hard for them, but I knew that I needed to be honest with them. And they knew that I was attracted to men.
Yeah.
But they were always of the mindset that I could have enough faith and change, and that I would never really be happy if I gave in to, the desires inside of me that were sinful, basically. And so I finally told him I don't agree with that anymore. And it was rough. I mean, it really, and it still to this day isn't great at times. We're not on non-speaking terms. We get along, we get together. I love them, they love me, but they didn't come to my wedding because they just are not comfortable with two males showing affection and love. And I don't know if they think this far about it, but having a sexual relationship. And that was very painful. It still is. So, but we all get along. We're able to come together when we need to. And then, but I'm proud of myself for doing that because I put it off for so long and so long and so long. And I have been such a better version of myself, the best version of myself since I came out. Even though it's been painful in a lot of ways, it's not like it just solved all my problems, but it really took a weight off of my shoulders. I don't feel like God's mad at me anymore. God's ashamed of me. I'm obviously married now to a wonderful man who is the love of my life, and that hasn't been perfect either. So it's not like when I say all these things, it's been work.
Of course.
I've had to work on myself, and I still am. It's not done, but I feel like I am truly myself and really not trying to pretend to be something else. And I think that part of it especially made all the difference, and I would never go back. So yeah.
Amazing. It's interesting to say about church. I grew up in church. I loved going to the church. I was singing in the church until the point of my mom thought that I would be a priest because I was literally involved, and I loved it at the time. I remember as well praying in the church because I thought it was a sin, what I was feeling for boys. I didn't know how to understand. I was praying. I remember praying in the church for not have those feelings. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yes, I remember that. But anyway, I think,
It's heartbreaking.
it is. But I loved going to the church. My mom literally thought I would be a priest because she never asked me to go. I was, oh my God, I want to go to the church. I love being there. I was in the priest doing the mass. I was there helping the priest. I was singing the choir. I loved it. The energy was amazing. I think the priest was so cheerful. He was literally like this, had his presence, and I loved that about that. But growing up, of course, it's funny because I was connected with the whole thing about the church, but I never thought deeply about, I couldn't be this, it was against that. When you are a child, you don't understand those things. You just want to be there, singing, helping, or be in the whole, the whole thing about being a math. I think that's what I was fascinated about.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Ready for the last question?
Sure.
Last one. Let's do it. But before the last question, you mentioned about your writing music. You've got some music there, written. Let's say if you could see any male singer singing one of your songs, who that would be?
Oh, wow. That's a great question. I feel like the lyrics of a lot of my songs would fit. Have you heard of Sufjan Stevens?
No.
Okay. He's kind of a alternative style, and so he's not as well known as some people. But yeah, I have been a fan of his ever since actually my husband introduced me to him years ago. And I feel like we're very simpatico when it comes to our just the thoughtfulness that I try to put into my lyrics. So he would be one. I mean, obviously, I really think Sam Smith's voice is beautiful, so he'd be another one. Yeah, those are two that I think of right off the bat that are really fantastic singers. Yeah.
Okay. Again, the message is sent to the universe.
Sure. Yeah.
Last question is, what was your biggest punishment?
Oh, like as a child?
Yeah, when you think about the biggest punishment you ever had, could be as well as an adult, something that you feel like, okay, that was a punishment, could be anything.
Okay. I was a pretty good kid, so I'm trying to think. I got spanked often for, just not acting correctly. That was of that time. I'm not going to fault my parents for that. They were never abusive or anything. I do okay. I clearly remember one time that I was young. My sister is about 3 years and a little bit more younger than me. And I just, for whatever reason, was being very ornery, and I kept scaring my sister, like telling her, somebody's going to come kidnap you. Somebody's going to do this, like kind of hateful. But I was ornery as a kid and kind of sneaky about how I would do not great stuff. Because I was smart enough to kind of figure out how to get around it as much as I could. Well, my sister was horrified and believed me. And she was probably, I must have been like 8 or 9 years old. So she was, 4 or 5. And so, she believed me, and she was like crying and screaming. So my mom found out, of course, because she was screaming. And so she told my dad. And so usually my mom was the one that did the discipline because she was at home more.
Right.
If it ever got to my dad, it was not good. So that got to my dad. And my sister she was a daddy's girl growing up. I was always very close to my mom. She was closer to dad. And so I tell you what, whenever he got home that night, he gave me a spanking I will never forget. It wasn't like, I'm not going to say it was abusive or anything, but I remember he put some weight into it to let me know that I was not to do that to her. And I didn't. I mean, I stopped after that. But yeah, it's funny, as I got older, I don't remember being punished for a whole lot. I didn't do a lot of stuff. I was a goody two-shoe. I really was trying so hard to be that perfect little boy because of all the stuff I was dealing with. So that's one time, though, I do remember getting in trouble for something very naughty that I did.
I remember doing as well. I was so scared of my dad. Just the look of my dad for me. Oh my God, his look! I literally was already okay. Doesn't need to do anything else. I was already
right.
Remember? Oh my God,
I understand that for sure.
it's not the end yet. Let's play now the word association game. Okay, I'm going to give away some words. Just tell one word that comes to your mind. Quick thinking. Okay.
Okay.
Let's start with money.
Necessary.
Family.
Aw. Love.
One word for life.
Grateful.
Sex.
Exciting.
Your eyes. Exciting.
Yeah, it is. I was 36 before I ever had sex. So I feel like I'm catching up. I was a virgin when I came out.
Really, Jason? Wow.
That's probably TMI. But
wow.
I was scared of it. Seriously, I wasn't attracted to women and I wasn't able to have sex with men. So what was I gonna do? You know. Anyway, sorry. So that's why I probably said, "Ooh."
Are you catching up now? You're catching up all those years.
Yeah, I think so.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'm doing okay now.
Good. I think your husband is being like, wow, I never met anyone like that before. Like, good for him. Good for your husband.
That's funny.
One word for religion.
Stifling.
I never heard this word before. Stifling. I like that. Wow.
You know, and because I don't feel like religion is the same thing as faith.
Okay.
And maybe that's why that word came to me, because I feel like religion, it just puts people in boxes. It puts God in a box.
Yeah.
It's a little concerning for me. I really have had to work through a lot because of the way I was raised. Again, not trying to fault anyone for it. It's just a lot of unraveling of things I really thought were true that I don't believe anymore.
One word for politics.
Exhausting.
Fear.
Suffering.
Friendship.
Oh. I'm trying to think of a word. Fullness.
Desire.
I feel that. Huh. I don't even know if I have a specific word. So many come to mind. I'm sorry. I'm bad at this.
It's okay.
Longing, maybe, is a word whenever you say that word. Maybe I'm being too literal here, like just defining the words for you.
Doesn't matter. Whatever comes to your mind. They're not right or wrong. Regret.
Gotcha. My youth. I that's 2 words.
Okay, not a problem. Success.
Oh. Contentment.
Wish.
Oh. Happiness.
And one word for happiness.
Probably back to contentment for me.
One word for Springfield.
Oh. Small town. That's 2 words.
It's all right. One word for Missouri.
Beautiful.
USA.
Really
one
is.
word.
Troubled.
And the last one now, music. One word.
Heart.
Amazing. Let's pretend now I'm going to meet your husband for a coffee and I'm going to ask him, define Jason in one positive word and one negative word only. What he would say?
Probably the positive word would be, hopefully, I think he would say kindness. And then the negative word would be self-critical.
Okay.
That's, yeah.
Let's play now, Jason, and the magic box, and you can ask me a question. But before that, play the music one more time. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, you can ask me a question now, Jason.
Okay. Who is your current celebrity crush?
Oh my God, what a great question. What a great question. I was expecting that. Oh my God, celebrity crush. Wow. Wow. Oh my God.
It could be anybody. It could be from the past too. It doesn't have to be right now.
No, but I like it. I love it. I love the question. You know what? I'm gonna think about you know the last Superman, the English one, the Superman. What's
oh
name?
Yeah, Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. Yesterday, I was in the cinema last night. I went to see a movie, and they showed a trailer of one of his come up movie next year. And I was looking at him. I was like, "Oh my God, you are so close to me."
I know. He's from there.
Yeah, I was like, "Oh my God, yes." When I was looking at the movie, I was like, "Oh my God, he's a man." Like when you look at him, you're like, "Wow." And he's sweet because I follow him on social media, and he posts picture with his dog. He's always and I was like, oh my God, I wish to be cuddling with him.
Uh-huh. Well, he was in this have you ever seen him in the series The Tudors?
No, but I know which one is. No, I haven't.
That's how I first became familiar with him, and I thought he was very attractive.
Yeah.
And so that's a good one.
So yeah, that's what from last night I spot straight away. He came to my mind right now. I was like, oh, I'm gonna come to watch this movie for sure.
I love it. Yeah, for sure.
Did you enjoy the interview, Jason?
I did. This was lovely.
Thank
you. I was a
you.
little nervous because I haven't done much of anything like this before on especially Zoom, but you just made me feel so comfortable, and I've really enjoyed getting to talk to you.
Thank you so much for being so open and sharing your memories in life. I think people watching the interview, they appreciate that, because you never know, maybe someone is facing the same situation you faced in the past, and see someone talking so open about it. I think it's a warming place. It helps people to reconnect and see that they are not alone out there. There are so many people facing not just challenges but happiness as well. The way you explain about music, your eyes shining, talking about music, and people they like that, not just about the bad side but the good side as well. People appreciate someone talking so open. So thank you. But before you go,
my pleasure.
If you can share a positive message or anything that you live by.
Yeah. So I was thinking about this yesterday actually. And man, what there's two that come to mind. One has to do with music. So that is the essence of artistry is subtlety. I actually stole that from one of my professors in college. And I think people forget that sometimes. We're so inundated with just the loudest person in the room gets all the attention. But the essence of artistry is subtlety. I love that. I still think about that in regards to my music. And then just in life, I've really started to take this mantra on that being is more important than doing. And our culture really tries to make us feel like our productivity determines our worth. But that is not true. You have to be strong in who you are and confident in just being before you can have good doing, in my opinion. Now you can have a lot of doing, but it's not going to be the best until you have good being. So I don't know if that's helpful or not, but that's kind of where I'm coming from, at least. Yeah.
I really like that, actually. Interesting. Amazing. Jason, regards to your husband, to your lovely sister, to your family, and you keep in touch, okay? It was a pleasure having you on the show, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Same.
And you keep in touch.
To meet you.
Enjoy your day.
Yes, I'd love to. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. So, did you like the show? Don't forget to give a like, to share it, and also don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And if you'd like to be part of the show as well, First, subscribe to our channel, and after that, just go to our website, www.williamandthemagicbox.com, and send us a request saying why you'd like to be part of the show. And I see you there. Bye bye, see you next time.